Yo, what up, guys? Welcome to another replay analysis where we are doing today actually a 3v3 replay analysis. We got three different ranges of Zerg players as well, but they are all Zerg. So if you guys have ever wondered what it would be like, it's easier to, I would say, to analyze and talk about replay analysis or to talk about team games for players of different races because you have more set roles for your race, I would say, that are easier to do. But that's not to say that you can't do it for the same race. It's totally doable because you have different units for one race. So we're going to talk about how these guys can play it out. And one thing to keep in mind as well is we'll keep in mind difficulty of what is being told to do. Like what task is being issued to each person for the league that they're at. Because right now we actually have a gold to platinum player in top left for Trex. We have a diamond player in top middle, the red Zerg, and we have a Masters player in the like the lower area of the map, like still top left though, as the teal Zerg. So Masters, we'll just say platinum and diamond. Masters, plat, and diamond. Okay, these are the leagues of these players. So obviously the hardest task should probably be allocated to the Masters player. Vice versa, the easiest task would probably be allocated to the gold or the platinum player. So 3v3. It's an interesting concept. And on this map as well, you got to also think about map design, right? So you have a free base here. That is a rock that you should probably leave an overlord at, though. Same thing does not exist over here, I guess. I've never seen this map before. So the way you want to look at the layout on a map, even I've never seen this map, but how would I look at it? I would literally go like this. I would take from like left to right. I would go, okay, how do we get into the base? You can't get in there? Nope, 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 nope. Okay, that's a yes. How many entrances are in this base? Okay, just the one. That's the one entrance to his base. Let's go back down to here now, though. You can get into the base from here. So, because this is a cliff going to the wall here. So how about here? What's going on this way? Okay, looks like that's the only entrance into the base, right? Go on this way, and then you go further this way, and you see the other guy's base up here. And you actually have a second backdoor entrance into the other guy's base. So this looks like a free expansion as long as you can cover the rocks properly. So there you go. Now we know the layout of the main base. Now, does the rest of the map layout matter that much? No, not really. All this mid-ground terrain and stuff doesn't really matter a whole lot. Because by the time you use it, like in the game, if the game gets to this stage of the game, when you use the middle of the terrain, like you're expanding here, and you're expanding here, and you're expanding here, well, guess what? You're already past the early game stage. You've already gotten out of the stage of, are we going to overly macro and die? Or are we going to under macro and fall super far behind and then die? Like, are these, is the game going to open properly, or is it going to open like shit for us? That's what you really want to know. And now that we know there's one entrance there and the second entrance there, definitely want to leave an overlord for sure. Maybe like right there on the high ground. And definitely want to at least maybe leave an overlord like right there on the high ground looking over the edge. And maybe even like right there or something. Or you could even leave it like right there. Just have an idea of something that could run in your fucking base. Like, don't leave this open to no vision. But should this be your first overlords? Definitely not. This should be like the second or the third overlords from these guys. And the first overlord should actually go across the map. And I would say the best thing you could do with your first overlords would be whoever's on the right side should go to the right side. Whoever's on the left side should go to the left side. So if the map is a mirror, which is what all maps are in StarCraft 2, like realistically, if you cut a line down the center of this map, it just literally mirrors itself on the other side. So we can see that on the right side of the top is the expansion, which means on the left side of the bottom is the expansion. So that means that teal should be looking for the expansion here. So teal should definitely be keeping an eye on like this area and seeing if they're using it. What if you guys could, what if you saw no scout here and you could abuse the fact that you could rush this? That's an opening, right? Just like red should be just kind of getting an idea on the right side, just giving an idea what race is on the right. And then the guy in the middle, blue. I wouldn't say he needs to necessarily dive all the way into the middle because you could lose your overlord that way. But maybe blue could find an area on the middle of the map like this or something. Just move out and start taking control of vision on the middle of the map somewhere. Like maybe move your overlord there, for instance. So you can see their ramp aggressively. Give yourself some vision across the map. And you don't need to send multiple overlords for all of you. Just send like each one of you send like one overlord. Get an idea as to what's going on. It would help you a lot as to identifying the situation. Now, that's just scouting, right? Now let's talk about roles in the game. You guys need to pair yourselves together with roles. So there are multiple roles in StarCraft 2. I would say there's roughly like 3, okay? There's like really 3 roles. And what those roles are is you have aggressive, you have super defensive macro, and then you have somewhere in between. The in-between person's like maybe like the more safe person that just does like middle of the road, essentially. So the way you guys should play it out is, if you guys want to play aggressive, multiple of you honestly should play aggressive, and maybe one of you could play middle of the road, or something like that, or maybe one of you could play greedier. It's fine. Like, basically the point I'm trying to make here is if anyone plays aggressive, if only one of you plays aggressive, you're not going to have a lot of success. You're going to probably just get yourself behind because you're trying to be one person aggressive against 3 players, which is really hard. You're very unrealistically going to do any damage. Vice versa, if you all played aggressive, you'd have a higher chance at aggression working, but then that means your build is going to be all in, right? So here's here's the thing about being middle of the road, though. If you're middle of the road, you can be what like other games like to call you being like a flex player. If you have players being aggressive and you have another middle of the road player, well, what that does for you is it gives you the option now to go, well, what if you're doing a really good job attacking, and what if like 2 of you being aggressive is working and it's starting to break them? Well, now the flex player can now turn in aggression as well and start assisting and going deeper in aggression with them, and then you can try to overpower the opponents. Vice versa, what if the players that are playing aggressive are not having as much success as they want and they realize they need to transition out of it? Well, at least your whole team's not committed in that area, and now the flex player can now switch into faster macro because he already has been macroing behind that, or before that's even started. That position has started for the team, and now you can kind of carry the team on your back. So I would say, again, we haven't seen what these players are going to do, but I would say in general, the player who should be the flex player here, if you guys were going to do something like that, should actually be the fucking Masters player, because it means if you guys are winning the game by default by an all-in, it's going to be easy either way because you're being aggressive and it's working. But if the game doesn't go your way and problems start happening, it puts a lot of weight on your flex player to carry the game on their shoulders for a while, and that should not be on the diamond or the gold player or the plat player. It should be on the fucking Masters player. So anyways, we'll see what they're doing, right? We'll see what they're doing. And if you guys all wanted to play macro, what you should do then, so I kind of explained the aggressive side of things, but let's now say you guys all wanted to play macro. That's before I move on. I would say one player should play like kind of scout heavy and more flex in the middle of the road, and then the other players that are going to play more defensive, you need to communicate as a team and make sure you're not getting all in to not die. So you can all of you rotate into playing safe if you realize they're going to all in you, which is why your Overlord Scouts are so important. The Overlord Scouts are even more important with the macro build if you guys are going to go for a macro focus, like if you're all going to expand. But I would say in the situation, if you're all going to macro, the worst player on the team should be the flex player then, and the best players on the team should be the macro players, because again, the flex player is all he's really doing is scouting, and he's slow. You're not really expecting a whole lot from the worst player. Again, I'm not trying to shit on the worst player here, but you're not like, hey, platinum player, I need you to win the game for us right now. Go 3v1 them. He's not trying to 3v1. He's just trying to scout and see, are they expanding? What kind of army units are they making? What are they doing? Like, get an idea of what the hell's going on. Like, oh, they got stalkers. They got fucking Phoenix. They're making tanks. They're making Marines. They're making roaches. This guy's rushing mutas, or, have some type of an idea. And the reason why it would work really well here, having the lesser player be the flex player if you guys macroed, is because the macro players that are better can still help him with scouts on the side of the base with an Overlord. Still help him with a scout on the side of the base with an Overlord. So you still have a lot of ways to assist your teammate. But again, it doesn't put a lot of pressure on the worst guy if you guys are going to play a defensive game, because it puts more pressure on the 2 macro players that are going heavy macro to make something work in the mid game, and then slowly after that, the flex player can then catch up to them, and there's not a lot of pressure on him to do that. So give him the easy job, right? So let's see, now that we explained what you should be doing, let's see what you are doing. So you're all making drones. Lots of drones. No one's made a building yet. All 3 of you are expanding. So by default, you're not all in. This is already too late to all in. Like, you guys need to be going for like a 12 pool, like a 14-14, like really fast Roachworm with Ravagers or some shit like that. Someone's got to be proxy hatching or some shit for you guys to be all-inning them. The fact that you all chose to go for an expansion means you're not all in. Also, notice how the red Zerg has a hatchery down. Notice how the teal Zerg has a hatchery down. And notice how the blue Zerg doesn't have a hatchery down. Well, that clearly means this guy doesn't know what he's fucking doing. And he sucks dick. I'm just joking. His friends are in the chat. And they're like, rip on his ass vibe. No, for real though, don't build a fucking gas before you expand. It's pointless. Yeah. You don't want to do that. Also, he just subbed. Trex, thank you for the sub. I'm just joking, dude. But you shouldn't take a gas. Thank you very much for the prime. Thank you, man. Yeah, you don't want to gas before you expand. It makes no sense. Because again, this insinuates aggression. This insinuates macro, and doesn't pair together. You're doing two different builds. So you're going to have a bunch of gas now that you can't spin properly. So yeah, definitely take your gas after you expand. What you guys should be doing, because you guys are all macroing, you guys should all be doing a build like this, okay? 16 or 17 hatch. Either one would be fine. And then you should be going for a 16 or a 17 or an 18 gas, followed by a 16 or a 17 pool. So again, the build would be something like 16, 17, 16. That's super safe, but it's still macro. It's fine. Or it could be something like 17, 18, 17, which is more greedy, but it's still macro and it's still fine. You should be doing a build like that, and it should be hatch, then gas, then pool. Or it could be hatch, pool, then gas. Either way, hatch first and then the other two. I don't really give a shit if you go pool or gas before the other one. It's not that big of a deal because it already doesn't look like you're being aggressive anyways. But you definitely don't want to be going gas before pool. Or, sorry, gas before hatchery. That doesn't make sense. Because now all that does is look at what's going to happen to you. Look at this guy. He just started a gas. That's correct. Look at this guy. His gas is done. The only way to saturate your gas properly is if you undersaturate your mineral line now. And you don't even have a pool started. And you don't even have enough to forward your pool yet. So you're out of order now. You're going to have way too much fucking gas by the time your pool's done. If you actually saturate this gas. Otherwise, it's just a waste of your drones. If you do or don't saturate it, it's a waste, is what I'm trying to say. It's too early, because you're going to have way more gas than you need to. You're going to have way more than 100 by the time your pool's done, and you're not going to be able to spend it properly. So this is now a fucked up economy, like big time. Okay, so yeah. Like, look at these pools. This pool is 13 seconds of the way in. This pool is 15 seconds of the way in. I would already say by default, the MC definitely has the best build right now. He's doing a mineral priority still, and he has a faster pool, and he has a faster gas than Van Buren by just a couple seconds. And also MC's hatchery is 36 second in, and Van Buren's hatchery is 38 seconds in. So, I mean, the builds are fucking super similar. But yeah, I would say there's going to be a better pairing with MC's build overall, with how things are going to flow. This build just looks fucked. There's not even a pool started. Trex, you got to fucking fix that. Get that pool down, bro. Okay, so you guys are all playing macro. Okay, so we've confirmed that you're doing is macro. So let's forget about the all-in side of things. It's irrelevant now. If you guys, just to throw it out there, I could go a lot more into detail about this, but I'm not going to. I'll just go into a little bit of detail to give you a little bit of information about it, but I'm not going to go major into it because it's irrelevant to what you're doing now. But if you guys were going to go all in, I would say the roles that you guys should have in an all in should be one of you should go AoE and two of you should go power. And the reason why I say that is because if one of you goes AoE, it's going to severely reduce your power. And if two of you go power, it's going to severely increase your power. And the reason why this makes a lot of sense is because the only person you need to worry about having AoE against is that guy right there. The Protoss and the Terran player won't be able to do fucking anything to you if you all rush them. Like, realistically, if 3 Zergs are rushing down someone's base, let's say they rush down the Zerg's base. Let's say all 3 you rush the Zerg's base. What the fuck can the Terran do, really? He'll be like sending 2 or 3 Marines outside of his base, being like, I'm coming with like 3 Marines that don't have Stimpak or Combat Shield or Medivacs or anything. And then they just die in seconds to roaches or Zerglings with speed or whatever. Like, you don't need Banelings to kill that. Same thing can be said about the Protoss player. What would he have to help you? Like 1 Stalker or like 2 Stalkers. It's going to be like no fucking units. So You don't need AoE because they don't have a lot of Zerg as well. You just need like one player to have AoE, and the reason why one player to have AoE is nice is because if this guy is going mass Zerglings, one player on your team going AoE would shut that down. Easy fucking peasy. And then if two of you go power, what does power mean? It means one of two things. It means mass units in the form of lots of lings or lings and roaches. Or lots of roaches. Like lots of lings or roaches, and you can maybe even mix in ravagers to it. That's fine. Like obviously if you're going to go mass lings, you're not going to have roaches or ravagers. But if you do go roaches, you could either go mass roaches or roaches and ravagers. Either way is okay. But yeah, I would say 2 power players and 1 AoE player would be great here. And that way the AoE player also is going to have speedlings, and he can somewhat help assist at using lings to also assist in the fight. But yeah, that's how I would say you should play it. Because 2 power Zergs are going to run over the fucking crap out of the Protoss and the Terran if they ever leave their bases out of the ramp. And then if another, for instance, would be if the power players decide to go lings and roaches and that's it, or just mass lings or something, well, it puts more emphasis now on the AoE player to not only deal with Zerg going for mass lings if that potentially happens, but you also need to now be more methodical about what you do. And you need to go, all right, well, now I need to make more Banes to bust walls down because now I don't have a roach power player that can help me bust a wall down. So it would put more pressure on the Baneling player to bust walls at that position then. So anyways, hopefully that makes sense. That's what I would recommend you would be doing if you were all in. But again, you're not all in, so we're not going to talk a lot more about that. You guys are macroing. So let's really go more into the macro side of things. Now we have, I would say by default, I don't like what's happening now. And I mean, I'm not gonna be such a stickler on it. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm telling you guys right now, the way you guys are divvying up your tasks, you're putting the biggest pressure on Van Buren and less pressure on Real MC. And if you guys want the highest chance to win the game, the person with the highest skill cap should be the one double expanding right now. Because if you guys are all, this is what's happening. This is what you've now, this is how I see you guys have now solidified your gameplay. Flex player, macro player. So you guys have made the macro player the diamond player when you have a masters player. And you have 2 flex players, which are the plat player and the masters player. And how does this make any sense? What does this mean? The reason why this makes sense is because the person with the most, the person who's gobbled up the majority of the resources at your guys' base is the player who has expanded the fastest with double bases now. And now this player, honestly, unless you make mass Zerglings, cannot help your teammates. And for you to properly play the game now, if you're not going to go mass lings, would be to properly take your mineral lines. And you have the option to do that. The only reason why you wouldn't want to do that is if you scout their being all in. However, the teal Zerg and the blue Zerg have no option to do that. The only way they take a third now is if they expand outside their base, which is way more exposed territory. That's definitely more killable for you guys' opponent. So this is a bit more dicey for your team because, again, this is now limiting the Masters player. And the only way I would say you could now make this work, if you guys are going to play a style like this is how I would say this could make sense. This player, blue, we'll come back to you. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going to lie. You can do whatever you want. Again, this is the lowest level player on the team. And you also only have 2 bases. So you're not that threatening right now. We'll talk about you in a minute. You're kind of like, you're able to just kind of, you're like a Tetris block that could fit into anything right now. You could literally fit into like multiple gaps. You don't only have a fine line of where you need to be. Now, this player, Real MC, if you're going to be a Masters player, you have only one way to macro out of this. If you guys scout them and you see they are playing super turtly, you are more than capable of taking a third base outside your base now, and you're fine. And then you can now also become a macro player, and that's fine. But if you don't see that they're going to turtle, and it looks like they're going to play somewhat standard, and maybe attack you, the best thing that I would say Teal could do now would be your Mutalisk player. Your air cover player that can support you with air defense and also air pressure on them, which is a mid-game scout. It's a lot of micro to do that, and I would say that would be a good role for your highest level player. So even though Red has put himself, which is a diamond player, into the macro situation, I think your Masters player would still be in a really good spot if you use mutas. But if you don't use mutas, I think you're not really giving yourself the best chance here. Now, Red, because you have a lot more money, and because you're limiting Teal, who should now just probably tech faster if he has less economy to work with in a realistic game, What red should do is red should be a player that goes for, I would say, in my opinion, something more into the Roach Warren category. And you go for like a lot more drones. You get a third base up. You saturate your third base is what I mean. And you only make units based off of a reaction if you think you need to, if you're getting attacked. Otherwise, if you're not, you literally saturate 3 bases and you turn this into like Roach Ravager. And then if the game, if you don't, like you don't have, I'm not saying you have to go Roach Ravager all day. Like you don't have to do it all game. Definitely make Roach Ravager early though, after you saturate your bases. So you can become more of a mid-game player yourself after you macro 3 bases up, and you'll have a lot of money to work with, which also gives you the ability now to transition to something better if your opponents aren't going to break to that. So you could be Roach Ravager guy that becomes Hydra Lurker guy, for instance, because they synergize well together. Now the last guy, your blue teammate, he's also going to be kind of broke, just like Teal is, but this dude should fill in the gap of literally whatever. Like this guy could go for tech really hard, and you could become a lurker guy really quickly. You could literally be the lurker guy if you wanted to, which would allow red to be more of Roach Ravager, Roach Hydra, straight up, and not have to make lurkers. If you wanted to play it that way, that'd be fine. Blue could also go for a secondary Spire to support Teal. That would also be fine. You could do a secondary harass with Spire, but you got to be really careful though, because if they both go Spire, this means that you're going to have to make a fuckload of Roach Ravager for red, which is going to put a lot of pressure on you to do that, right? Because you're going to have less ground support. So it's either blue supports Teal or blue supports red. Essentially, your weakest player should be supporting another player of some type of category. You should not be having this player carry a category. Another thing you could do as blue would be like, you could literally have this guy sit back and fucking, maybe make some Zerglings early game. Just to kind of like poke around a little bit, but don't put a lot of emphasis on that. We're talking maybe make like 30 lings and that's it. And this player could literally tech to like ultras or some shit too. Like this could be a tech player that supports ground for red, or he could be an air player that supports air for teal in some way or another. But it should, no matter what units that get made here, it should be units that are not that hard to micro. Like I would never say, oh, you should make fucking swarm hosts and or like Niduses and fucking infestors and vipers. Oh, no. Again, this is platinum. This dude should be using units that are a little bit more basic, because if he doesn't, if you guys put a lot of pressure on him to use crazy fucking shit, he's going to have a hard time. It's things. The other things need to be working properly. So now you guys see further in the game. You see this, okay? The second you see this, I would say blue. Again, blue can do whatever he wants. Again, he can support however he wants. But the second you see this, all of you are now able to take 3 bases. All of you can now take 3 bases if you want to. So blue and teal can now take that base and that base if you wanted to, or whatever, or that base. I don't give a shit. You could all expand now to 3 bases, because you now know they are turtling. And this is also a very interesting turtle spot, because it's actually on the fucking low ground, not on the high ground. It's a little weird. But they are now, like, at least one of their players is cannoning with turtle, which means by automatic default, if you only have one player who's going to be aggressive, this is now already going to be kind of shit. Because not only is it going to waste your time to kill cannons, but in the time you're killing cannons, his teammates can make an army to defend it. So you're probably not going to kill them with one player playing aggressive. So playing aggressive at all here makes no sense unless you all wanted to do it. Secondly, seeing this already tells you as well, they're going to tech. Who the fuck is going to make mass gateways and go for like a charge all in when they're going to make cannons? Nobody is going to do that. It's really, really awkward. It could happen, but if it did happen, would it matter? No, not really, because it would be late then and it wouldn't be intimidating anymore. So this is a sign of being able to macro. I love that immediately. Teal goes for a third. So good choice by Teal. Now Teal can open up now. Now I'd say now you don't have to go mutas anymore if you don't want to. You still can. I would say if one of you is going to go mutas, it should be either Teal or red, the diamond or the masters player, because again, it's the harder thing to do. But one of you does need to go mutas, because if no one goes, or no, if nobody goes Spire, you have no way to pressure your enemy that hard, and you also have no way to defend yourself if, for instance, the Terran starts dropping you. And if the, like, it's going to be way more fucking annoying. Like, for instance, what if you guys are all going like roaches and zerglings and banelings and ravagers and hydras and lurkers, and then suddenly one of you has hydras over here, and that's where the hydras are. And then this side gets dropped. And you're like, oh, bring the Hydras back. And the Hydras come back. And this side gets hit by a Void Ray. And you're like, oh, bring the Hydras back. And it's going to be fucking annoying. So if one player has a Spire, especially if you're all 3 Zerg, it's going to help a lot at dealing with crap in the middle of the game. Okay, so right now, again, is another thing too, where you guys are both like 35, 39 supply, and then blue is at 29. Blue, you're having some fundamental problems with your macro. And that is shit like it's out of order. Your build is genuinely out of order. Blue, I would say the one piece, Trex, the one piece of advice I could give you, big time, that would help you a lot. Also, Project Gaming, thank you for the host. You hosted me, actually, and you said you're teal, right? So, yeah, what up, MC? One thing you need to do for yourself, Mr. Trex, is your build needs to be cleaned up a bit. A lot, actually. So I'm gonna pick on you for a second, okay? So look at your build. You make a drone, then you make an overlord. So far, you're fine. Then you make a drone again. You're doing great. You should make drones again. You're doing wonderful. You may go up to 17 supply for drones. Now you go to 18 supply, and you make a gas before you even expand. This is your first mistake, as we talked about before. You should be going hatchery. Literally, the first building you build is hatchery first. It's not something that's like, when someone says go hatch first, it's not just like, who gives a fuck? I'm going to build it anyways. The reason why you want to go hatch first is because this is not just like, oh, I just built a gas. You now have to also mine from the gas, and it's going to fuck your build up, which is why you're already so far behind your teammates. You're already like 15% behind your teammates for no reason. From earlier in or later in the game when I just saw. So you build your hatchery. Your hatchery's also late, right? They already expanded. You're late here. Why are you late? Because you're making a fucking gas. And you're also going for an 18 hatchery. And you're building another overlord. So you don't want to build this much shit here. You're wasting so much time. So you got to think about it like this for a second, okay? These are the things you got to start thinking about. You got to understand this kind of stuff. You got to go, okay, if I mine gas, how much gas do I need to mine before I want to start Zergling speed? Or a layer? How much do these things cost? They all cost 100 gas. And I want to tell you something right now. If you start a pool and a gas at the same time, and the second the gas is done, if you start mining with 3 drones on that gas, you will be very close to having 100 gas. You'll be just under it, but you'll be very close to having 100 gas within 10 seconds of the pool finishing. So very close to it by the time the pool's done, and it allows you to now do things like take a layer, build a Zergling speed, whatever the fuck you want to do with your gas. So you're like, this gas is really early. Same thing can be said about your overlord. This overlord takes 18 seconds to make, and you're still 5 supply from blocking, and you're also about to go down by 1 because you're about to expand again. So you're going to be 16 out of 22, which means you're going to be 6 supply away from blocking. Now, if we really think about it, and then you haven't built a pool yet, you're going to be 15 out of 22 when you build the pool. You're going to lose supply when you build your drones. Now, if we think about how long it takes to build an overlord, it's 18 seconds. And if we think about how long it takes to spawn one larva to make a unit with, 1 larva represents 1 supply, right? So 1 larva is going to be 1 supply, and you spawn about 1 larva every 10 seconds. So if you drop all the way down to 15 supply after you make your pool and your hatchery, you are not even going to be close to... You're going to be supply blocked fucking 70 seconds later after that. And you want to know something? 70 seconds after that, if you made the hatchery, it's like at a 71 second build time. And this hatchery gives you 6 supply. So your build is fucked up like crazy. So again, your build should literally be, you could drone up to, let's just say this, you drone up to 17. You stop making stuff. You make a hatchery. Then you drone back up with 2 more drones to 18. Then you make a gas. Then you make a pool. And that's the whole build. So 13 overlord, 17 hatchery, 18 gas, 17 pool. 13, 18, 17. Or 13, 17, 18, 17. Sorry. 13 OV, 18, 17 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. And what does this mean? It means you're going to build it at that number. It doesn't mean it's what's going to go down to after you build it. So when you hit 17, you make a hatchery. You'll drop down to 16 after that. You make 2 more drones. You go to 8. Then you're at 18. Then you wait until those... And here's the thing. Here's the trick, though. When you're going to these... The reason why this is relevant, okay, is because... What is 17 minus 1? It's 16. Okay? This is important to know this. 17 minus 1 is 16. And what does 16 drones do for you at the start of the game? They mine a hatchery fully saturated. So the extra drone is going to build your hatchery. Drone 17 builds your hatchery. Now, do not fucking build a gas right after you build the hatchery. And why are we not going to build a gas right after the hatchery? Because we want to maintain 16 drones on the mineral line. So you build 2 drones, and now you have 2 eggs here, and it takes you back up to 18 supply. Again, do not take drones off the mineral line and build your gas in your pool. Wait until your 2 eggs are done, so you maintain 16 the entire time, and then you build a gas and a pool with drones 17 and 18 on the eggs here, while maintaining 16 and 16 on the hatchery, on the mineral line. You don't rip off repeatedly. And what's going to happen is if you wait for drones 17 and 18, again for the gas in the pool, by the time they spawn, you're going to barely be able to afford a spawning pool. Why is 17 hatch 5? I thought it was 16. Dimco, you can do it either way. And 16 hatch is a more relevant thing to 1v1 games because of early cheeses like 12 pools. Not so much in 3v3. I'm giving him a build. Don't make it so confusing, right? This is exactly where people fucking like lose their shit and they're like, I don't know. I thought it was this. It could definitely be the other. But again, I want to explain something to you really fast. 16 hatches only fucking matter in 1v1. And I also just said about 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago in this replay analysis, you could literally do 16 or 17 hatchery as well. I fucking even said that as well. But I'm telling a platinum player who is confused, right? Just do a fucking build. Just do one build. Don't make it confusing and be like, well, just do one or the other. I'm telling him, do it this way. Go 17 hatch, 13 OV, 17 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. And don't fucking rip off your mineral line. And then same thing again. Once you build 18 gas, 17 pool, you know what I want you to do? Unless you guys are all in as a team and going, hey, let's all in. I want you to fill up your gas with the new drones. Do not rip off your mineral line. Your biggest problem that you're having right now is you rip off your mineral line like crazy and you delay your shit a lot. And you can't afford shit properly anymore. This is bad for your economy. This is also why your pool's so goddamn late. Like your pool's also super late because you didn't build it until you had 300. Also, yeah, you said gold to plat. Yeah, it's all good. It's all G, dude. Yeah, you're ripping off your mineral line a lot. Like one thing you'll notice, your build has ripped off the mineral line so many fucking times. Let's look at your teammate really fast. 16. Let's look at your other teammate really fast. 16. You're sitting over here with 13. This is why if like you're the guy basically right now who, if you think about it, your teammates are like let's say you all start like a race at the exact same time. You're all like side by side. You look left, there's fucking Van Buren, and you look to your right, and there's the real MC, and you're like, hey, what's up, guys? Let's fucking do this. And like the gunshot goes, and you all start running, and every fucking time without fail, you see both of them just like passing you, and you're like, what the fuck? Do they have like better shoes than me? Is the track better for them? What is happening? Is there more wind in my direction? Like what's fucking happening? Why am I behind? And it's because you're not prioritizing your mineral line. You're starting the game off with the fucking handicap every single game. If this is how you play on average. And then, say, like, this is another thing too here, right? Like, look at your mineral line. You ripped off the mineral line to make evos. You don't want to fucking rip off your mineral line. Like, you want to maintain mineral line saturation properly the whole time. You want to get this to 16 on your main and then fucking never touch it again. Like, let it be. Let it stay 16. Because, once again, look at your mineral line. It's back down to 14, and let's go check your allies again. 16. Let's check your other ally. 16. You're going to keep fucking yourself if you keep doing this. And what is the cost of why you're doing it, right? You're making double evos. And then if we fast forward it really fast, double evos finish at like 320, 324-ish. One finished a little bit faster than the other. And what happens with these evos, right? This is what I saw. This is why I'm making this a relevant thing to talk about. You do nothing with them until about 4:24 or so. So you waited for a full minute to even use these things. Now, the fact that you're using them and you're going for a range upgrade and a carapace upgrade already tells me you're going for like a Hydra Roach build, stuff like that. But you're fucking up your mineral line to do it. You're also putting more gas emphasis on your build. You're putting a lot more of a gas pressure on your build. Like, these are not free, okay? Now, here's a concept a lot of players don't understand. The more you fuck your mineral line up, the worse it is for you, which is what we just talked about and we'll continue to talk about. Secondly, the more things in your build that you add into it that cost gas before you can afford them properly, they don't just cost gas, they also cost minerals, and it slows you down again multiple times. So not only did you take these upgrades way too early, which fucked your mineral line up again, you're also taking all of your gases before you're fully saturated on your bases. You are, again, below 15, or you're below 16. Let's look at your teammates again. 16, 16. Notice how they're always at 16 and you are constantly dropping below 16. You are fucking yourself repeatedly, which is your biggest, this is what BetaGM talks about a lot for like 1v1 play. It also applies to team play. It's literally teaching you how to make an economy proper in this game. You are doing such a gas emphasis on your build and your build is slowing down because of it. This is why if we look at overall supply in the game, where's the fucking supply at? This is why your teammate Red is at 56. But you could make the argument, well, he's got 3 bases though, right? He opened up 3 bases. Well, look at your other teammate. He's at 49 and he did not open 3 bases. This base just finished right now. It literally just finished. It has not even been used yet, right? It's barely, like, he opened up 2 bases just like you did. However, he's got fucking 49 supply and you have 39 supply. So he's got 10 more supply than you already. And the reason why is because he's just doing a better job of, look at the resources, right? He's fully saturated and then he's got gas. He's maintaining full saturation. Look at your base. You are undersaturated and you're taking your gas on top of that. You are undersaturated and you're double gassing right now. You are just not making drones fast enough and you're not maintaining minerals fast enough. Like if I go back for a second, watch this. You have 4 right now. This might be a bigger surprise to you. This is before you've taken your gas. You have 4. How many does your teal teammate have on his mineral line? You both opened up 2 bases. He has 15. He is fully saturated aside from 1 drone here. And he's also getting attacked as well. So he might have even lost a drone to some bullshit. What the fuck even attacked him? Hellions attacked his ass. And the Hellion ended, I think it actually killed the drone, right? Let's see, let's actually see it before it dies. This Hellion has killed 1 drone. It killed 2 drones. It killed 2 drones. So he would have been fully saturated if he did not lose drones. So that Hellion got a couple kills and then it dies. So that is something. This is something you need to just work on for yourself, and it will help you so much if you do. And just know, gas expenses should only happen once you actually have excess to spend on them. Like, what do I mean by excess? Okay, this is what I mean by excess. When you start a game with Zerg, you have one rule for Zerg. Okay, don't fuck your larva. That's it. Like, if you fuck up your larva, you fuck everything up. Let me give you an analogy, okay? I'm going to give you an analogy, and this will probably make sense. I like to give weird analogies, and I just thought about something random here. Have you ever seen a movie or like a cartoon where there's always people that are like, there's like 2 guys, and they're like holding a big sheet of glass, and they're like walking past the sidewalk or something, and then someone always walks through it, or like, the goal is obviously not to let the glass break, okay? The goal is to not let the glass break, but it's super fragile, and that's what your goal is. Larva is like not letting the glass break, okay? It's like that's your priority. Don't let it fucking break. And spending your gas is like not getting fingerprints that you could just wipe off later on the glass. Like, it's something that doesn't fucking matter at all, realistically. So you're worrying way more about something that doesn't matter. And the analogy, I feel like it kind of sucked. It's whatever. I went with it. It seemed kind of cool when I first thought about it. Then it kind of just ended up sucking ass. But you get the point. The point I'm trying to make here is there's priorities and then there's alternatives. And your priority is taking a back seat to an alternative in the game. You're like, fuck the resource priority of minerals. I'm going to do my gas as a focus and make my build gas focus. So I'm going to have crappy mineral lines. And I'm going to focus on my gas. And that's going to slow me down without me realizing how slow and far behind I am in this game. So you are fucking yourself over by doing this. A lot. More than you might realize. If you fix that, if you just add gas as a follow-up, and you do it in now I'll go back to talking about how do you do that, right? Let's not do some fucking weird analogy. How do you do that? Just spend your larva and then build other shit. Spend your larva and then build other shit. Maintain 16 and then do other shit. Maintain full minerals and then take your gas. Natural comes up, get fully saturated mineral line, and then take your gas. You want to take evo chambers? You better have no fucking larva when you build them, because otherwise you're fucking your build up. Like, let's go back one more time really fast. Let's see when you built the evos. Just for fun. So you built the evos before your queens are even out, right? You built the evos before your queens are even out, and right now you have 4 larvae sitting there. You have 4 larvae sitting there, and you have no fucking queens. You have bad larvae right now because you haven't spent it in a long time, and you haven't even started using injects yet. And I see your supply blocked, which means obviously, if you say, Vibe, I'm supply blocked though. As long as you don't larva block, the supply block sucks, but it's not the worst. The only time supply block really hurts Zerg is when you larva cap, which is 3 per hatchery, because you stop generating larva then, which is really fucking bad. But notice how also your overlord finishes right as your evos kind of start, more or less. Like your one of your evos was like up about 4 or 5 seconds before the overlord finished. It's not that big of a difference. Again, you just got to really prioritize the larva and make your fucking drones. And now you have 3. Now you actually have 3 in this hatchery. You are blocked now. Now you stop generating larva, and now you're indirectly losing units because you don't get them back. You don't get that larva back. You don't get seconds back. It'd be like it would be like this. Here's another analogy. This is way more relevant to what you're doing right now. Okay, the fact that you have 3 larvae on the hatchery would be an analogy like this. Here's another analogy for you. Imagine if imagine if you went to like some billionaire's house, a billionaire's house. He's fucking loaded. He's maybe a trillionaire at this point, and he tells you as soon as you get to his front door, he's like, "Put your hands together like this. Put them together," and you go, "Okay." And he just starts dropping this bag of like full of $100 bills into your hands, and it fills up only so much because you know your hands are full now. And then every other $100 bill just falls onto the ground, and he says, "You can only have what's in your hands. If you grab even one fucking bill that is not in your hands from the ground, I'm gonna fucking whatever. You're not gonna have anything. Then you lose. You can only have what's in your hands. So you want to maximize your what you can do with your hands, and you want to make sure you don't fuck that up. Okay, this analogy is also getting kind of bad now, but what you're doing, it'd be like this. It would be like saying this. Imagine if you don't larva cap and you have nothing in your hands and you catch as much money as possible. And now imagine if you are larva capped and you decide that when you put your hands out, your phone and your fucking wallet are in your hands already. And you're just watching it, like now you only get like 1/3 of what you would have got otherwise because you've already hit capacity on your hands and it's only stacking a little bit on your hands and the rest is falling off. It's just shitty. It's bad. So again, I feel like I'm just trying to make it in a way where people can understand what I mean. If they're like, I don't understand what larva capping means. And I try to give you another real life reference that might make more sense to you. But it's fucking terrible is what I'm trying to say. It's so bad to do that. And you're doing it like crazy right now. And this is why your build's so far behind. I'm just trying to let you know. You are, without realizing it, this is kind of what the position you put yourself in, okay? Let me just say it like this. This might help you understand what I'm trying to get at here. I don't know. An analogy was worse. Shut the fuck up, chat. Shut up. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. We'll get back to where we just were. Are you ready for this? You might not realize this, but this is how it really is. Based off of how you have set up your build, this is tough love right here, okay? Tough love. Again, thank you for the prime. I appreciate it. But tough love right now. Based on how you opened up your build, it would be the same thing as if your teammate, Real MC, just lost about fucking 10 drones to Hellions. Like if he had like 6 Hellions drive up here with Blue Flame and they killed 10 fucking drones and then the Hellions died to the Queens or something like that, he would be in the same place you're in right now when nothing's happened to you. That is how far behind you are. He would have to lose half of his fucking natural to get back to where you are by default. And that's just because, again, of all the things we talked about. You're not prioritizing your larva enough, and you're not prioritizing your minerals enough. So It's like you've already taken a bunch of fucking harassment damage, and you're already negative in the game. Alright, and then talking about Van Buren. So, okay, so this is a moment here, too, again, right, where I would say, for your teammates, you guys scouted like shit. You guys scouted like dog do. Not one of you scouted the base. To be fair, the only player who actually scouted anything was your platinum player, and he died with his overlord to cannons on the low ground. You guys scouted nothing. This is really bad. You guys should have at least tried teal and red, Van Buren and Real MC. You guys should have at least tried to scout here a little bit with an overlord. Like come this way a little bit. Go this way a little bit with an overlord. See if they expanded. You should have tried to go here a little bit with Van Buren. Go over the cliff and check and see if there's an expansion there. Do you have to commit the overlord to die that way? No, you could literally fly over the cliff. Check like right there. Is there a base? Okay, get the fuck out. You guys should have scouted a lot more than you did. You guys scouted nothing though. And what fucked you on this is, look at this, right? Look at this. You guys are expanding like crazy. And automatically, if you guys scout right now and go, okay, well, we are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases as a team right now. 3, 3, 2. And you go, okay, well, they have that base? Cool. So we know for a fact they have at least these 2 bases. Do we know if they have, obviously that's another main base. Do we know if they have that base? No, we don't know that because we haven't gotten that far yet. And there's cannons blocking us from getting to his base. That's when one of you could scout deeper if you wanted to. I would say, for instance, Van Buren should not scout deeper because there's a Zerg here and you'll lose the overlord, right? But look what the Zerg sees right here. He sees nothing. You could easily scout there and get away. But now look at what Real MC could have seen. He could scout here and go, yep, there's a base right there. So I know he's got a base there. But then he could go up here and go this way and go, oh, there's no base here. You got nothing. And then because there's nothing here and your overlord has a higher chance to not die, you could even dive deeper and go, is there a base there? And your overlord could fly this way. And if it dies at like 4 minutes in the game, who fucking cares? It's not actually that hard to replace that. You have so much more money at this point in the game. It's not your first overlord. It's like your 8th overlord at this point, or 7th overlord, because the map is so big. So if your overlord went deeper and you went, there's no base there either, guys. Guys, yeah, they're missing a couple expansions right now. You know what that means? Fucking stop making drones. You guys need to play safe. Whoever your flex players are need to start making units. Only at this point, literally only one of you can now actually macro and just be like, you guys got it. I'm going to macro. And 2 of you need to fucking start defending yourselves. The only way you guys could ever have a chance to get out of it where like maybe even 2 of you could play macro and only 1 of you could play flex and now make units because of that is if you guys both made queens to help him. So if the 2 macro players went queen, 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 like if you had like 10 queens total together with 5 each or some shit, then you could have 1 player play unit, 2 players play queens. The reason why this makes a lot of sense is you can already tell that this made you feel safe to expand in the first place, but later you got to confirm, are they taking all the bases though, or are they not? And they're not. So you guys don't have the ability to go, well, every one of us is going to saturate all of our bases, because if you do, you're going to lose bases. And then if whoever takes the damage there is going to get fucked on, right? It's not going to feel good for that person. They're just going to get behind. So these guys are attacking you now, and you guys have no idea. You guys also need to pay attention too, right? Because I mean, this overlord's not poorly placed. It's in a decent spot. You can see pushes coming towards you. And now for production for you guys, you're making drones, drones, and drones. And you're getting attacked by roaches right now. And now Hellions are crossing you. So you guys, none of you are paying attention to the minimap at all. You guys, someone has to pay attention to the minimap. At least a little bit if you guys are all going to make fucking drones. Another thing you can do is how about one of you just leave like a Zergling right there. Or leave a Zergling right there. Or leave a Zergling like right there. On all the X... Why can't I click there? What the fuck was wrong with that? That was so awkward. I can't click there. What the fuck is this? It's something right here. It's like in this production... It's like a bug in the replay. Like I can click above it. Or what the fuck? Now I can't click at all. I don't know. There's some weird... Like maybe this production line's coming down somehow and it's like a grid. Because if I take it away, it'll click just fine. That's weird. Anyways, what if you guys had a ling? What if one of you had like 4 lings? Like Blue, for instance, made some lings. I'm not saying it has to be Blue that makes lings. I'm just saying one of you could send lings and not go to the cannons, but sit outside the cannon range. Sit on the high ground. sit over here, sit right there. That way, at least if you're not paying attention to the Overlord on the minimap, which is another way you could see it, you could see our units under attack, dead. And you're like, oh, fuck, the guys are pushing. And then if you're actually going, guys, my shit's dying, you're going to go, oh, wait, oh, yeah, I see them. They're pushing, right? It's another alert. It's like an alarm clock to an attack. And you're like, oh, well, let's get ready for it now. And you guys, none of you are reacting at all. You're all fucking droning. None of you are paying any attention to this one bit. And you guys are going, what's your choices for units too? You're going Hydras and Evo Chambers and Banelings. This looks like Lingbane Hydra. What's this guy doing? You are making a second spawning pool. The fuck is this? What the fuck? That cannot be on purpose. That has to be a mistake. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but that's definitely not supposed to be a spawning pool. You're making nothing so far. You're playing ridiculously greedy. And what is Blue doing? Blue is going Infestation Pit. Holy fuck, your guys' build is nuts. I would say Blue needs to not go Infestation Pit because the easiest thing you could use off this is is Swarmos at the very least, but that still sucks cock for him because that's a unit that requires maintenance of a cooldown. Requires you to know what you're doing. It also requires you to have good positioning of your Swarmos because if you're sitting right here and you go, don't worry guys, I'm gonna get them, and you fucking launch, the Swarmos locusts expire like in the slope phase area, the slow zone, and you're not even close to their base yet, and you're like, did I do damage? No, because you fucking launched it out of our base, right? And expecting a lower player to just understand that is crazy. And if he's gonna go for fucking infestors, holy fuck, that's nuts. I imagine he's gonna go for a Swarmos though because he's getting weapon upgrades and armor upgrades. Yeah. And now this base is dead, and it's because you guys didn't react at all. And now, does this mean you lose the game? No. Yeah. But you know what this does mean? This means that your best player, the Masters player, is basically... Like, if you guys... Just imagine this, okay? I'm going to give you another analogy. This one's going to make a lot of sense. Imagine if all three of you got arrested for robbing a bank together. And now you guys are in prison, and everyone's looking to make you... They're all looking to make you guys their bitch. And let's say Real MC is the toughest guy in your group. And right now, what you guys are letting happen is you guys are watching your friend who's the tough one out of the three of you get thrown on the ground, and he's getting the shit kicked out of him right now, and you guys can't do anything to stop it. And now suddenly, the rest of the prison yard's making you their bitch right before your eyes. And you guys are just witnessing it. Because even though you saw people eyeballing you a minute ago, and they were walking up and they're stepping up on you, you didn't fucking pay any attention. You just turned away from them, and you were like, yeah, whatever. And suddenly they threw your buddy down, and he's getting fucked right now. Not literally. That'll happen later. Guy's fucked up, right? He's getting his ass beat. And what do? Here comes Van Buren. He throws a weak-ass right punch, and he gets pushed on the ground as well. And now your poor little gold teammate, who weighs 50 pounds, is crying in the corner because he doesn't know what to do. He's just hoping someone's going to be nice to him. That's stronger than you guys at this point. Yep. And now you guys are both fucking dead. You guys literally are fucking dead right now. This is you tried to be ahead. This is the classic mistake of you make tons of fucking drones and then you expect to not die, and you guys are all getting destroyed right now. So even though your goal was you all play greedy and they play middle of the road, you're suddenly ending up in a position where you're just negative and they're still middle of the road. So you had like let's say you had like a 25% lead in their economy about 10 seconds ago. Well, now you have a 25% disadvantage because you're getting fucking owned on all your expansions right now. Are you going to die right now? I don't think so, because the game still goes on for another 16 minutes, but you guys are definitely taking some damage. And that was a mistake of saying... That was overconfidence, right? That was you just pulling like 5 hydras to beat all these units. And if you honestly are going to pull hydras like that, you should have pulled drones with it. Real MC, that is. And if you didn't want to pull your drones with it, and pulling drones is an afterthought, you should have just waited and let his base die and waited for Van Buren to assist you. This feels like a lack of communication because Lings and Hydras are honestly, in my opinion, would be enough to mostly deal with this. But you guys engaged at complete opposite times. Like the Hydras engaged first and mostly died and then fell back with whatever little bit you had left, and then drones got pulled, and now that drones are being pulled, now Lings arrive. So I feel like there was a miscommunication there with engagement, how to set up, like how to go, like when to go, when to pull the trigger. So you guys need to talk to each other more, I would say, and make sure you guys are like actually going to go together and not panic in this position. Meanwhile, poor Blue, right? Blue, I would tell you, honestly, even though you got no speed yet, just fucking go when they go, right? Just definitely help them if you can, because you're literally doing exactly what I said, which is crying in the corner while your friends are getting beaten to fuck in front of you. And you want to know what it actually does? You want to know what it actually does? This is a real life concept. When shit goes down and you freeze, you know what happens? You would have had a better, even though it's scary because shit's going down and you froze, you would have had a better chance to have a more positive outcome in your favor if you would have used the situation at hand to fight with your friends. But now that your friends are just kind of fucked up, like if they get destroyed, now all the weight is on you to take everything into your hands. Like for instance, imagine if now that let's talk about it. Let's talk about camping with a bear. Imagine if the three of you go camping in the mountains, and then you're currently sleeping in a tent, and then there's also like your buddies are like cooking a fucking steak over a fire or some shit, and it smells like a juicy ass meat over there, and then you out of nowhere you wake up to a bear roaring, and your friends are currently running away like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant from a fucking bear, and you're watching it happen. And you got all the fucking meat. It's like all around you. And you're like, I know that in literally 15 minutes, the bear is going to come for me next. I could try to help them now fight the bear. And you see, right now you see one of your friends getting mauled. And the other one's on his back like, get off of him. And let's say you have like a knife or a gun or some shit. You could help right now. You could help. But if you sit there and you watch, it's only going to get worse. Because once they can't help you anymore, now it's all on you. So helping your teammates would definitely help a lot right here, because you not being there is just fucking them over even harder. But now at this point, you guys have defended, and again, you have no indication as to what bases they're on. You guys have like fucking no scout, and you guys could easily have like overseers at this point too. So, like you could drop changelings and run around their base. You guys are playing such a blind game right now. Someone needs to scout something, because here's the thing. With no information, I'm going to tell you right now, if they did not decide to expand more than they already did, making drones right now is a mistake, and you're going to die just like you did before once again. You need to make a little bit of drones, but mostly make units. Like try to recover a little bit, but go back into making units early, because you need to get ready for wave 2. However, if you saw they did expand, you could get away with making drones and fully saturating your bases again, because you then know that was a timing and this is not an all-in. You guys have no information though, so you don't know how to play it out. And the reason why you have no information is because none of you went for a fucking spire. There we go. There's a spire.
Metaphors and concepts all day, baby.
Yo, Cam, thank you for the bits, man. Hell yeah. Thank you, thank you. So spire player needs to definitely scout faster. Yeah. With how, and I'm going to tell you something as well. With how macro oriented your whole team is, none of you even have any emphasis on wanting to attack. Like red and blue both went for link speed after layer. Teal is the only one who opened up link speed at all. You guys need to have better scouting, because the more you play greed, the more emphasis that it puts on your scout, because if you scout aggression and you're playing greed, you get fucked if you don't react. And now you have mutas. Now he's got burrow movement roaches. Now this is something you guys should all be talking about, right? Van Buren should be alerting the team saying, guys, they got burrow movement. So you guys should be doing something like, for instance, making, like I would highly recommend, for instance, you do something like this. Make a wall here that is like a one doorway open wall, and put a fucking spore there. and then have your units kind of congregate in this area so roaches can't get in your base very hard. Do the same thing here. Have Van Buren now build an actual wall here because you know that their whole goal now is to get roaches in your base and then be annoying as fuck with burrow move. You guys could also build like a spine and spore in your mineral lines at this point if you're going to sit back and macro defensively. Or you could use overseers. Like, you got to do something defensive. If you just don't react to the burrowed roaches, I see them coming back later and getting all of your mineral lines and fucking you. And here they come, right? They're coming back. They're not done yet. Are you going to react? Okay, they're not coming, actually. He's going home. But whatever. And this is what, again, no scout. You have no, like, you should already know by default that if someone goes for fucking cannons like that, they're probably going to go one of two things. They're going to go DTs or they're going to go Stargate. And you haven't been, like, in the fact that the Protoss player was not attacking you in the first fight at all, and it was just the Zerg and the Terran who fucked up the guy's third base and fourth base and stuff. Like, where's the Protoss at? Well, if he doesn't have DTs attacking you yet, he's probably going Stargate. And, again, you shouldn't even have to guess because you should have had an overseer at some point in the game going, guys, there's some fucking Stargate action going on. And you know what should have happened then? If you guys are going to go for a Spire and Hydras, the best way you could have fought this is if you knew Stargate was going to hit you because you scouted anything. Your guys' scouting is awful. You need to fucking scout. Again, the only reason why you even see this is because mutas flew in and flew out. The first thing that you scouted was your muta attack, which was like in 9 minutes. Which is, where the fuck is it right now? Where is your mutas? Oh, it's right there. They're coming back for the Void Race. But what you guys could have done is if you would have known that there are Void Rays coming to your base, like there's going to be a lot of Voids, what you could have done is you could have put like an, think about this for a second. What if you put like an Overlord here and an Overlord like right there? Just like 2 Overlords on the edge of the map. And what if you did the same thing on this side? Because you expanded here now. I don't defend these bases because this is fucking ridiculous. But put an Overlord like right there and put an Overlord like right there. The reason why I say don't defend these is because they're so far out of the way and they're not even defensible. Like they're just started hatcheries. But if you had Overlord, like 1 or 2 Overlords on this side and like 1 or 2 Overlords on this side, you know what that does for you? It buys you time before Void Rays can engage your base, and it allows your Hydras to go either left or right. And then you know what should happen? The Hydras should initiate the fight. Void Rays engage onto Hydras, and then you know what should happen after that? Then Mutas jump on Void Rays. And you know what happens then? If Protoss does not turn around, he gets 2v1'd and he dies. If Protoss does turn around, Mutas and Hydras, the Hydras chase him until he's out of range of the low ground, but Mutas chase him the whole fucking time. So Mutas get an advantage in the fight. Before the Mutas have to fight the Void Rays by themselves, you get a bunch of free damage while he's trying to run away from you, and he also takes damage from the Hydras. Meanwhile, Blue just tries not to swallow his own tongue at the moment. Okay, so Blue is doing... I remember how I said Blue needs to support one or the other. Well, right now he's supporting both of you. He's going Spire and fucking Hydrogen. You need to pick and choose your tech. If you've already... And also, if you've gone Evo Chambers as well, don't fucking go Spire. If you're going to go 2-2 upgrades of ground, do not also be like, I'm going Spire too now, because you're committed on Hydra now. So it means you're committed on the ground. So you should just go to Hydra. Like, you should be Hydras, and if he's going to go mass Hydras, that means that whoever else is going Hydras, which is now green, should go more for the higher maintenance unit style thing. Like, you should now be going for less Hydras and Viper or Lurker or Infestor or something. It also would pair well because you're a Masters player and you can handle it better. And you're going Lurker and Infestor, which is... You have Infestor and Lurkerden, which is great. You should be doing the higher tech value shit. Your lower teammate should just do something easy, like max Hydras with 3-3 and assist you with a move. Because he's already having a hard enough time just fucking macroing, right? And then your red player, the Zerg player that is actually going Spire, is your Air Boy. And again, Blue could be going Spire too if he really wanted to, if he didn't have Evo Chamber investments. But if he was doing that, he would want to make less Muta to harass with than Red would. But he would want to go faster for like Mass Broodlords, because those are, again, more A-movable, and you guys can cover him while he just makes Mass Broods and maybe some Corruptor or something. But then that's all he would do, right? That's it. Something super easy. So, yeah. He's doing everything all at once, which means he's going to have nothing. He's got fucking 70 supply. And how much does Red have? He's got 111. How much does Teal have? Teal's getting fucked up right now. It's 75. You guys also took a shitload of damage, too, in the earlier part of this game. But now you're starting to die because you, again, have no fucking scout at all. You have no idea what's going on at their base. And you guys are starting to lose your economy like crazy as a result of it. And your base is dying. So you guys didn't really, I feel like you don't really have a clear plan as to like what you want to do. You need to either have a couple players play aggressive or a couple players play macro-oriented, and you need to have a flex player involved in there somewhere. And if you're going to play aggressive, the flex player is macro unless otherwise notified to all in as well. And if you're going to macro, the flex player is now going to be the fucking scouter and the harasser, the person who actually gives you ideas as to what's happening, unless otherwise advised to just full on macro as well. Like, you're going to kind of advise yourself, though, because you're the one who's actually checking the map more. Brood Lords were my idea. Well, if you're going to go Brood Lords, you should not be going for upgrades with your Hydras. Like, the fact that you made 5 Hydras, like, you fucked your economy up with Evos really early. Like, crazy. We talked about that already. And then you made 5 Hydras. And I have not seen any blue, I'm not going to lie, or maybe you made more, but throughout this game, I have barely seen any blue Hydras. You've made more than 5. You've made 13, and I have no idea how much has lost for you. You've lost a few units here and there. But I have not really seen blue in a fight yet. Realistically, I have really not seen blue in a fight yet. I mean, I know I'm going pretty fast. But I would say if you want to just go Broods, that's fine. I'm not going to say that's wrong. Just don't go fucking upgraded Hydras. Because if you go upgraded Hydras, you put more emphasis on the Hydras then. And the only way that works is if you're going to do a big Hydra timing. It doesn't make any sense to go Broods off of upgraded Hydras defensively on 2 bases. And I know you lost the base over here too, but the reason why you guys are all getting fucked is because you guys all have... None of you scouted. Red and Teal have better macro, but you guys got obliterated because you played way too greedy. And then Blue is doing a build that is just so... Blue did not get obliterated at all, really. Blue lost barely any drones, I feel like, throughout this game because he was kind of in the back and he pulled his drones away. But you just don't have any. Your build is just, by default, inefficient. So you guys are all fucked now in this, like, negative position, which is not ideal. And none of you should be out like this. Like, this makes no sense to be attacking right now at all. The only person who should be attacking right now is the Mutas. And the reason why the Mutas should be out right now is because they look at the move speed of a Hydra. 3.15. You don't even have a Hydra speed yet, which is scary as fuck. I definitely don't want to be moving out right now. All you're doing is guaranteeing that they're going to die. But a 3.15 move speed on Hydras, and look at a Muta's move speed. It's 5.6. Even with Hydra move speed, a Muta is still faster. And a Muta also doesn't have to worry about terrain. It flies over it. So Mutas should be the only thing attacking right now. And Van Buren, you shouldn't even be worried about killing them right now. Any damage you deal is bonus. But because you chose the role of Muta, you know what you need to be doing for your team? Hey guys, he's still going Void Rays. He's got a lot of cannons. He's got another... Protoss is on a 4th base now. Hey guys, he's got no fucking units. He's got Spores and he's got a Hydra Den. You know, I see Hydras eventually. Hey guys, he's still going Hellions, and he's going Marines and Marauders. You should be the one informing your teammates what they're going for, and then your teammates need to be able to tell themselves what they want to make against that, and you guys all need to understand what you're doing. So, again, what we can clearly see, Red has gone for an air, Teal has gone for a ground, and Blue has gone for a bit of a hybrid of both. So Blue should have picked one or the other, and here's how you would read it, right? So Blue is also a lower level player, so whatever Blue goes for, mass Broods or mass Hydras. Whatever style you were to go for, don't do both. Just support your team with either one of those things. If you go for mass Hydras, that means that Teal should probably go for a lot more Lurkers because he needs to cover the ground with another way because you guys are lacking a lot of grounds, like real power to your army. So Teal would now want to go mass Lurkers with his Hydras. Like, we'll say make 24 of them instead of like 12 of them. But now, if he's going to go Broodlords, suddenly now you have a fuckload of ground coverage from a siege unit. So now you could actually make like 12 Hydras, or sorry, 12 Lurkers instead of 24. And now you could actually have your army more dictated to cover the Broods better by having more Hydras because they can't shoot air. And then vice versa, your other teammate, fucking Red, it really, the Muta player really, it depends on how well you're doing. Are you getting damage done or are you not getting damage done? Perp made 11 spores. Is that like Muta killing 11 drones? I want you to know something. Spore crawlers made early in the game matter. Spore crawlers made late in the game don't mean shit. The less drones you have, the more static D matters. This applies to all races, by the way. The less workers you have, the more expensive static D is because your income is lower. The more, like for instance, if you had to make 10 spores right now at 3,000 minerals a minute, you would be like, what? I made 10 spores? Question mark? Didn't even realize it. Okay. But if you have to make 10 spores at purple's economy right now, you'd be like, holy fuck, guys, I got nothing. I can't afford this right now. I'm literally making nothing but spores for the next 30 seconds. This sucks ass. So, at this stage of the game, when he makes spores at double-digit minute count, he's beyond 10 minutes, it's not that relevant. I mean, it does something, but he's also not losing drones anymore. But it's not that big of a deal because he already is. Like, he should have more drones at this point. 34 is fucking low, though. So, I mean, we're not talking about him, though, so I'm not going to talk about what he's doing wrong. But, yeah. Later in the game, it means less impactful of making people making static D. But, like, this is a waste, right? This makes no sense. You guys are not playing as a team right now. And then right now, like, these metas should not turn around. They should go down and around. Good. They should go down and around. And you should try to do damage somewhere else. Now, if you don't want to take a fight, do not lose these metas. If you see a fight that looks fucking scary, you run away right now. I would say don't fight cannons and mass voids if the Protoss is going to be here. And if you lose 1, 2, 3 metas in the process, not the end of the world. Now, obviously, the reason why you lost any metas is because of these slow zones. They fucked you pretty hard, which is just part of the map design. But you should, I agree with the fact that you tried. But now you know, okay, yeah, guys, Protoss still has a lot. Protoss still has a fuckload of voids, and you should be informing your teammates about that. Guys, yeah, we killed voids, but guess what? He's got a fucking lot of them. So how can you deal with that? Get one of your teammates to make fucking Vipers. Like you could make Vipers with it. Your Teal, if he didn't lose the Hive, could make Vipers with it. You can make Infestors, but you can make some type of a spellcaster to fuck this over with AoE that hits air units. Lots of things you could do. Do not put that roll on your blue teammate, though, at all. Do not put that shit on fucking blue, because he's gold platinum. Okay, let's go through this a lot faster now, because we've already talked about this a lot. You guys have already put yourself in a really weird spot, though. And you guys, again, the biggest thing I've noticed is you guys aren't ever attacking together. Like the fact that, for instance, that you guys are moving out with double Hydras when you have no Lurkers right now, and you also have no Broodlords when that's what you want to go for ultimately, is wrong. This attack, if you lose these Hydras, all that's going to happen is you're fighting with a weak army that needs to be replaced. And it doesn't make it. The only way this would ever fucking make sense is if red went opposite of you and dragged them away from you and told you, hey guys, I got at least 2 players down here. So if you guys are fighting someone, it's going to clearly be a 2v1 up there. And you guys go snipe like this base or this base on the other side of the map, and then you get the fuck out of there after you kill one base. You should not be looking for a fight right now, because you're not even at full power. And if you guys take a fight for real, you're going to die, because your army is weak at the moment. And red is not doing anything with the metas to control where they go. And now you guys are just out of position, right? You guys are all out of position in the middle of nowhere. No one's scouting anything. And suddenly the exact same thing is happening in reverse now, where their 2 teammates that are going non-air unit, like the Muta player and the Void Ray player, they're playing defensive right now. They're literally sitting back defending their bases. And now the Void Ray player is attacking you, you guys are not defending your bases. You're in the middle of the fucking map. And now you're losing bases again. And remember how I said Teal's not going to be at full power the first time this happened to you? Because you guys didn't scout? Well, do that again. Second time around now, your best player, just once again, day 2 in the prison yard. He's fucking bruised, and he cried his eyes out last night in his bed in his prison cell. And he's like, I hope they got it out, and they don't want to do it again tomorrow. And then tomorrow, with you can't even fucking see because your face is so puffy. You like, your eyes are so goddamn swollen. You can't even see out of them. And you are just listening to your friends. You're listening for Trex's voice, and you're listening for Van Buren's voice. And they're like, this way. And you're like, huh? And you can't even fucking see. And then you hear another guy say, you fucking looking at me funny? And then he gets over and he throws you on the ground again, and you get your ass beat all over again. That's, you know, round 2. You're like, ah, fuck. Guys, I can't take much more of this. He's out of the game again, guys. He's getting fucked up. Now, That's a massive mistake by Orange. What the fuck is he doing? All right, this is where people play dumb. This is now Orange saying, hey guys, I got a lot of damage done. I got a lot of damage done. You know what he could have done then? He could have flew away and either recalled, or he could have fought the mutas 1v1, which should have been good for the Void Rays. But he goes, no, you know what? I'm going to fucking fly in the middle of the fucking Zerg territory, and I'm going to take multiple Zerg on by myself. He just took his advantage and threw it in the fucking trash can. There's no reason why he has to fight by himself. He's getting overconfident. And he throws away every Void Ray in the process, like a derp. He fought all three of you at once. As stupid as hell. So it puts more, now that put more pressure on his teammates, because now he's like, guys, I killed 2 bases, but I lost everything. Good trade? No, not really. So, you know, not good for him. So that kind of shit's going to get you back in the game, right? Even though Teal just got fucking owned. Well, so did Orange. And now Teal should not be attacking by himself again. This makes no sense. Because you're doing the exact same thing Orange just did. You just committed your army into a suicidal death to kill a command center. And now you're getting pushed on by Yellow. You're also going to get pushed on by Orange. And you're going to fight by yourself. And look at your teammates. You guys are doing nothing to support. Now, this would make sense if you had a Nidus Worm to escape in right now. And you drug your enemy opponents away from the base. And while you drag them, like let's say you sent changelings up here and you were watching for the army to come down this way. You made a fucking Nidus and you evacuate. And then you go, guys, yeah, they're coming to me and I'm going to Nidus out of here and evacuate. And your teammates go, okay, we're going to go kill this base while they come down there. Good move, because it's efficient for you and you're not wasting shit. But because you just cornered yourself, now you're going to fight Marauders and you're getting overconfident. And you're like, yeah, I could take this. Battlecruisers are moving around. Void Rays and Marauders are engaging you. Where'd the Battlecruiser go? Where the fuck is the BC? What the hell is he doing? I'm so confused, dude. People play so goddamn weird. What the fuck is that BC doing? Oh, they're in the army. I saw him like TP from there, but I guess he TP'd into the Void Rays. That's fine. So you're engaging 2v1 right now, and you're losing everything. Not ideal for you. And that was just a moment of overconfidence, and you just threw everything away. Oh, not worth it. Yeah. And now you give the opportunity now for the Void Rays to do the same thing. The same thing they just did before. This guy is fucking silly as well. He's like, Jesus. This, you know, this is another analogy. This would be like, you got, like let me tell you guys this. Serial Killer, thank you very much for the 613 sub. Here's another analogy. This is a lot of Leroy Jenkins shit going on constantly right here. And this is another example of what I could do an analogy for this would be, imagine you're in a zombie apocalypse and all you have is one car and it's a little tiny smart car. It's not even a big car. Okay? You got a smart car. And there's like 50 zombies outside the garage banging on your garage door. And then you guys are coming up with a plan, and you actually you're getting headway, thinking about like a plan about how you can use like a fire escape, use a ladder, cross to another rooftop, go over there where they're not all at the garage, and then you can like find your way over with a lot less zombies in a different spot, and get like food storage and shit like that, and like get like supplies. And then you have one person in the fucking roster of your group over there that just gets in the smart car, hits the fucking garage door, and hits the gas pedal on the smart car. And he gets to a whopping 10 miles an hour before he hits his first zombie. And then like 45 zombies are like piling on the smart car. And then your friend's like, help me, as the smart car gets devoured by zombies. It's like, bro, the fuck are you doing? Like, how do you fucking think this is going to work? Thank you for the bits, Cam. Like, why does this guy take the advantage and kill you 2v1 in the bottom of the fucking map, and then he kills like Terran and Protoss, kill the Zerg who overcommits, and then Protoss once again flies 11 Void Rays into the middle of like 50 fucking Hydras, and he's like, "Got it, dude. I got him." Obviously, he's having fun. He's just having a good time, but he's throwing the game away again. Like he's fighting before the fucking Terran has even arrived. And everything Protoss is dead again. You guys are only winning this game because you guys played an awful early game. And they're playing, especially Orange, is playing fucking awful late game. Now you guys are all pushing together. That is correct. This is the first time I've ever seen you guys do an attack that's actually correct. Because now look at this. Red, blue, and teal are all fighting together. This is a 3v2. What the hell's purple doing? Purple's got lurkers on a ramp. Purple's got lurkers in a bush area over here. And purple's got some hydras walking in the middle of the map on the right side. Purple's not even here. So this is a good fight for you guys. This is now a weak scout by them because they didn't know you were all pushing. And you guys all push and they're out of position. So you win the fight. And now purple, if he comes in by himself afterwards, is going to throw his army away. But this is the correct option, is he decides to counterattack. Because there's no fucking way he's going to beat you 3v1. So he's trying to buy time now so his teammates don't just all die. And he's trying to do damage where like you guys kill the base. Maybe he kills the base in the process. And maybe he like resets the game a little bit. Purple's actually smart by counterattacking right now. But he should now leave because you guys have left his base more or less. So he shouldn't just throw his army away. He should now leave because there's no way he's going to win 3v1. And if he stays, he's just going to throw his army away. So it was a good move, and now no longer so much. And he just threw his army away, right? Tempo of game. And then, yeah. You guys, that's another bad move by Teal. Teal just fought 2v1 again by himself. Blue's over in top right, and red was in middle right. So you guys need to stop attacking by yourselves. You guys need to understand that every time you attack by yourself, it needs to be a non-committal fight where you're going to back up as soon as they engage you. Because how the fuck do you ever expect to win against 2 players by yourself? Like, when you attack someone in like 1v1 ladder, are you attacking, if you're a Zerg versus Terran, for instance, are you expecting to attack into Marines, tanks, and medevacs that are also paired by Storm, High Templars of Psionic Storm, and Carriers, and Archons? No, you're just fighting 1v1 Terran versus Zerg, right? So why the fucking team games does it change? Why would you ever attack with Hydras into fucking Skytoss and Mech? It's not gonna work. You're gonna die every time. So if you're already winning the battle though if you just get them out of position and then back off, because those armies are fucking slow. And then you go, hey guys, you're on the right side, I'm on the left side. They're over, multiple of them are over here. I'm gonna back up. You kill their base now. And when you back up, drop a fucking changeling so you can alert. You can now know, are they gonna chase you? And now your teammates need to come help you, or are they going to go back and defend their base on the other side? And if they come back, if they chase you to your base and try to go for a base trade, your teammates can kill the base, come back, and you can now 3v2 them if they're or 3v1 them or 3v3 them if they all push together. Or if they decide to go back and defend the other side of their base where your other teammates are, where let's say your other teammates are 2v1ing somebody because the last guy didn't leave. Now you can go, okay, well, now I see that they're in the middle of the map away from the expansion. Now I re-engage, and I don't have to fight against Carrier Battlecruiser and Thor and shit. Now I fight against just a base that is not defended properly. You could take such better fights if you just set it up like that. Like, you actually think about it. And now you guys are winning the game only because you guys have more money. You guys have more expansions than they do. So, you guys, both teams made a lot of mistakes throughout this game. I'm not going to lie. You both did. But at the end of the day, whoever makes the mistakes second is usually going to be the one who loses. And the reason why is because you guys made the mistake first, right? But you know what happened after you made the mistake first? You still had economy in your main base. So even though you fucked up, you were still able to bounce back from that. But now your opponents made the mistake second later on in the game. And you know what happened when your opponents made the mistake second? Look at their bases. Mined out. Mined out. Mined out. They don't have resources anymore. So if you fuck up later on in the game and you lose your bases as a result of it, the newest expansions you just made, you're going to be like, oh, well, now I'm just broke. Now I don't have money anymore. So now I can't bounce back from that. It's because you run out of money in this game. You mine the bases out, right? And the way StarCraft 2 works as well is if maps were designed in a way where you guys all spawned in the middle of the map and you expanded away from your opponent, well, then this concept would be different. But that's not how it works. People spawn on the edges of the map, and then you work your way towards each other. So the edge always mines out first, and then middle of the map that is harder to defend is what's always next. And if you lose your expansions because you fuck up for some reason, and you've now mined the edges out, well, you're dead now because you can't make any more money now, and you can't build an army because of that. So you guys all made mistakes. You made less than them throughout the mid game to the late game than they did. and you won. I think Orange threw for their team pretty hard because he was greedy as fuck and he took so many of their bases and he kept throwing his army away. Yeah. But yeah, you guys kind of all made mistakes here and there throughout the game. So hopefully what I talked about makes sense for you. Hopefully it helps. And thank you guys for doing it. Pick your roles better. Make sure you guys actually work as a team better. Move as like you know, one unit. Like think about how you can manipulate fights to your advantage. And don't always be so eager to just fucking attack by yourself. The only person who really can attack by themselves is the Mutalisk player. And the Mutalisk player needs to understand to not take a fight if it looks like an even trade or unfair trade.
Perfect example of why games favor aggression. Played poker for a decade and always better to bet than call. Aggression always.
Ooh. Yo, some luck. Thank you for the bets. Much love. Thank you. And, yep. Guys, thanks for watching the replay analysis. I will see you guys in the next video, whatever it is. So until then, much love, take it easy, good luck, and see you next time. Peace.